Are we all ready to start with the presentation of results? Are you all excited to see what the other teams did? Okay, then we have our first competing team. I mean, we are friendly competitors already on stage. So it's the multilingual project for WordPress.
Morning. So managing multilingual content with WordPress multisite, that was the topic, which was kind of a statement, not a question, but I need to raise the microphone. So it was not a question, it was a statement. So we found a group which was really mixed, and we had designers, we had content managers, we had developers, we had 2 to 3 people. So it was quite a good group with various people, and we started an introduction round, and yeah, basically we ask, do you know multisite? Do you have problems? Is it possible to manage multilingual content with WordPress? Is it a good idea? And it was like 10 minutes and everyone said, yeah, it's a good idea. So, yes, it's a good idea. It's possible, and we are really convinced that that is the way and the best solution to manage multilingual content in WordPress. And basically, the main benefit of that is that we can split the content actually in different sites. So they are separated, which has performance impacts, which has SEO impacts. You also have logical and functional and also design differences. So the German website can have a different design than the English one, different plugins, different functionalities. And the user management is also really clear because different sites. So, and you can just manage, assign different roles, capabilities. You can just invite people who want to see the content and can manage the content. So that's pretty clear. But it's not easy for non-technical users. We are all developers. We are all people which know the software, the community, how to do it, how to edit files. But the normal WordPress user, they don't know multi-site. What is that? It's not documented very well for end users. We have documentation for developers. It's pretty clear. We have code. We read code. So that's our documentation. But they don't know it. Super admin. What is super admin? What is network admin? Don't know, right? So setting up the multi-site is really complex. You need to copy stuff. You need to edit files. You need to find constants. What is a constant, right? No one knows that if you're not a technical person. So that's really easy. That's really bad. So let's solve these issues. In our group, we decided that multilingual is only possible if we solve multi-site, right? So what we need to do is we need to make multi-site easier for everyone, so even for the end user. So we split it up into basically 2 groups. One is making a concept, which we show later. And that shows how to convert a single site into a multi-site for the normal user, and also how to set up easily sites and languages later on. And then we also have a coding part, which is basically that people discovered WordPress core, how to hack around. We have a demo as well, which you can join us later to show. And basically, we also worked on core track tickets. So we solved existing issues, which are long ongoing, and yeah, that's good. So let's go into the demo. That's the new admin design, which will come at some point. I don't know when. So when we go to the admin design, we can go to more. Then we can go to tools. That's the way we decided. It's not final, right? And then that's the new screen. The convert to multi-site. That's the end user. He's just clicking, or she's just clicking a button. We go to the next screen, which is basically the plugin screen, which has like a wizard or a guide. So we are guiding the user to convert the single site to a multi-site by going to some steps which are required and some are optional. So we can go through it. And the first step is to disable the plugins, which is required to convert a multi-site. So we disable them. Then we convert the multi-site. That's just a button click now. It's not copy pasting any code anymore. And then you have an optional step, which is enabling again the plugins you disabled. So we are using a feature which is recently active plugins, which is 10 years old kind of, and makes finally sense. So we reactivate them, and that's it. We have everything checked, and now you can go to My Sites, which is the main entry point to list all sites. on that page, you can add a new language now. That's the multilingual part, right? So we made it easy. Now we add a language. So we select the language. We pre-fill the fields by selecting the language. You can also change it, right? And then you can set up the language. And here we go. We have a new language set up. That's a new block in the multi-site. That's not counting, right? They're interrupting me. That's not counting, so time increase. So last but not least, that's the list of your sites with the translations. You can go to the dashboard of that new site, and you will have a wizard because you start blank. You don't want to start blank. You want to copy over stuff from an existing site to start translating the content, maybe use the same plugin themes. That's it, right? So you can dismiss or can copy. Yeah, that was the demo. We have more screenshots for more flows. That was just setting up a language. We can also set a complete new site, a shop in the multi-site, right? That's also possible. Check out the girls in the background here. They have screenshots and flows prepared. Yeah, basically our next steps, we will create a proposal on make.wordpress.org for that, what we designed. We will also stay on the top of the track, so we will work on multi-site issues which are existing. We will create new ones to improve the flow. And more infos you can check out. Thanks a lot.
Hello, CloudFest Hackathon 2024. Today we have a short musical for you from the JSON Schema Group, and that musical is called Syntax Errors.
Oh man, I've been working all day with this tab, just getting the tabs to work on my settings page. Just let it add another tab. Okay, tab 1, tab 2. Okay, yeah, this should finally work now. All day I've been working on this, and a quick refresh. Oh, syntax error. Not again. Come on, please. Okay, last shot. Let me Google it. How do I create in WordPress a tab in my settings page? Yeah, just give it away. Okay, first result must be working. Oh no, so much text. Oh no. Oh, I have to use this to get it working. No, not more. Come on, it can't be this difficult. It can't be really. Oh no. Oh no. I don't want it. No, please just let me be. Oh no. What should I do? I think I give up. No.
I can see you're struggling with fields and forms, especially tabs. I feel you. I've been there too. Then I found this absolutely amazing GitHub open source project. I'm really slow. I'm sorry. React JSON schema form. There's a playground. Let's add an email field. Give it a type. There.
Yeah.
We just add the email type.
Yeah.
And then we have the new email field, even with validation. I put the wrong email in there without an ad, and then just like that. Here, I put it in there, and then it just gets validated. I don't have to do anything else than that.
Validation, no code.
No code. Absolutely no code needed there. And then I can even rearrange my fields. I can drag and drop them.
Really?
Just on the UI.
Okay, great. Then just let me try it. Let me try it for myself. All right, I just add here JSON, and really, oh my God, the tab is there. The whole day. I was working the whole day. Okay, let me try another thing. I want the title just to edit it, and the title, it works. Okay.
It's totally amazing.
Let me add a field.
Totally
I really get into my flow here. Let me add a field. What happens if I add a field? And I just field is added. I refresh. The field is there. Oh my God! You saved me a whole day of work. Thanks so much.
It changed my life too. It's so great.
Amazing. Thank you.
Well, this is my website, and I want to show you 10 books I printed. And I don't want to add any post types with code, so I'll just go to Data Types tab in WP Admin and create a template for a book data type. I'm going to define a title, a description, and a year that book was published, and then I'll assign it to specific metadata names. So this is my title, and this will be my description and a year published, and I'll even encode an image. So once I do that, WP Admin allows me to create a new book over here. And this book will use the template I just created for my book type. So the Bible is the most famous book I ever printed as Gutenberg. And once I save it, I can add a query loop on my homepage. And in that query loop, I can just add all the books I created. So if I save my page, the books just show up here. But interesting enough, I can update a template to show the image on the right-hand side, and the data just follows. So now we also have a Gutenberg flow to create custom post types, manage their data, manage the template, and do it all in WP Admin with zero code.
What an amazing story about all of these developers, guys. Let's go, one more applause. But at the beginning, we said that it was a musical, right? And where is the music? Let's do the music together. So you do the second line, we do the first one, okay? If you're happy and you know it's syntax error. If you're happy and you know it's syntax error. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it's syntax error.
Give it up for Team Public Sector Website Funding Transparency.
Yeah, so in general, the idea is public money should lead to public code. So if government spend tax money, it should in the end not lead to closed source systems, which are hard to maintain, but instead we should end up with systems that are actually open source, that the community can profit from it, and in the end, they are also easier to maintain because there is a wide community, there is us who are taking care of it. Well, so as said, public money, public code is a basic idea. What did we create for it? The most important part is transparency. So we developed a system, or better said, a platform, which scrapes public or pages from public governments and analyzes them based on what systems are used. During the hackathon, we focused on CMS systems, but in general, the idea would be to scan for software components on websites and identify if it's a closed source or an open source technology which is being used. And yeah, therefore we implemented different features, which Vanessa will show us in a second.
Hi. So I'm going to talk about the achievements as far as our project is concerned. Our first achievement was we started with a couple of domains from Wikipedia, and we were typically looking at domain names from public website owners. We were also looking at locations, for example, cities and countries, and we were also looking at domain types, for example, cities or agencies. Another thing is that we analyzed results to validate the approach and refine the tool. We found out that some domains were being repeated and some countries were literally being mentioned again and again, and that is not totally good when it comes to data handling and analysis for efficiency. So we literally refined everything. We had to filter out the needed information for us to be efficient. We are handling money. Another thing is that we created a portal for every one of you to be able to interact with the system, and for all the other people who would love to track how public sector money is being handled, so that your taxpayers' money is not embezzled by anything. This is a demo that is showing you how the application or website works, and I hope you enjoy.
Here we see the score. In general, the good result is that already a lot of open source CMS systems are in place in the public sector, but there are also a lot which are still using closed source systems. Here, for example, we're searching for the next city here, which is larger city, which is Offenburg. We have different scores which are related to accessibility. We also have a map where you can search for specific cities or regions, and thereby you're getting information about the systems which are being used, and in the end you're also able to access the system itself. So as you're seeing, already a lot of features are being implemented.
Yes,
Yeah.
so basically this is the QR code for anyone who would love to see how the system looks. but we are literally refining the outlook of everything. We just wanted to show you that, and we are also trying to query more data for us to be efficient with the system. Those are the teammates. I would like to thank all our teammates for the teamwork and everything. Thank you.
So yeah, we are Team CMS Health Check, and what we did the last 2 days was, so the idea was to find a standard, a JSON standard for CMS Health Checks. The problem was, it was like Saturday 10 o'clock in the morning, so we had a lot of time still, so we started to implement something. So first of all, we started with the request for comment for that health check. We did that. Then we started with the reference implementation. We still had time, so what to do next? We had WordPress experts and Typo 3 experts in our team, so we started with that as well and finished that. So you can now use a WordPress plugin to send that, or to provide those health checks. You can also use the Typo 3 plugin. Other plugins coming soon, I guess, because we are very happy with that idea. And I guess you can guess it, we still had time. So we built a monitoring system that already can send out emails, that understands that format. Everything is open source. It can send emails. You can change the templates for the emails, so that's pretty cool. We still had time, so we built a mobile app. So it's already an iOS app you can use. You can see all the health statuses of all your products. So this is pretty cool, but we still had time. So, and this sounds easy, but this is the most important thing. We already managed to get our health check into two, this is open source, this is closed source, this is commercial system, but they already can read our health check system and can alert us. So I guess this is pretty cool, but yeah, that's it.
And this idea is about OS upgrades, which are possibly one of the most painful things, especially when you have just 5 minutes left to upgrade your system and make it to the production. So in general, you can attack this task from many perspectives. And we know that in cloud environment, there are many techniques to address it. So what we actually were doing, we're focusing on 3 aspects of this. The first thing is something that we didn't touch actually, but this is about extending, about doing in-place upgrades in general with minimal downtime. So it all is revolving around our Elevate tool, which in the enterprise Linux world is something that can make your job easier. Basically, there were 2 other aspects. So the first thing is to update CentOS 6 to 7, and this is a big project. So because we're not as lucky as many of you here, we had very great contributors, very great hackathonists, but they were really outnumbered. So this kind of project was not the candidate for this endeavor, because we just didn't have enough people. So other stuff that we wanted to focus on was, okay, we are in the hosting industry, so it's not only about DOS, it's about your system with an application that is really doing the business. So we tried to use our Elevate tool to migrate the system with WordPress application running on it, just to find what are the limitations of that process. So we'll get to this later. Another angle that we had, like an idea to do here, was enabling the older hardware that was already removed from the drivers that still can support it. And this is like an idea that you could call it an aspect of ecology. So the thing is, you bring back drivers that the devices are still in the wild, but the upstream projects decided to remove support for them. So these three ideas were like the basic concept for what we could do here. And let me just tell you about the Elevate. I just did it, but that was awkward. So what it does, it really requires minimal effort on your side. If you're on a major version of enterprise Linux system, you can use this tool to migrate in place with minimal downtime and without additional resources. So we know that in cloud, you can just set up another instance and this will work. But there are times that you're out of time, out of resources, and you can do it even on an old box that you just found that was somewhere hidden in your company. So you of course know the Alma Linux. This is forever free, community-driven, community-supported, community-owned operating system that is enterprise level, of course, and is meant for production applications. If you want to know more, these are the links, of course. What did we attack? The first project was about testing those setup that you would typically use in your environments, and we wanted to see how clean it goes. We actually found 3 bugs. So for the configuration that was running CentOS, the upgrade to Alma Linux 8, well, it revealed a PHP deficiency. If your application relies on the basic default config, which is probably not the case, but it can happen, and you do the upgrade, you will find that there was a weak dependency that would not be satisfied, and you will end up without PHP FPM if you are still using pre-fork, not the event mode. The next thing with MariaDB should be clean, right? It's just upgrading the system. But you end up without server package. So this is not the way to go. We, of course, addressed it immediately. The next thing is that we tried some custom setup with Remy wrappers enabled, and it also revealed a bug. Yep, drivers. This is the best achievement of ours here. The idea, of course, is to enable the hardware that you can still use, but upstream projects decided that it's not for you anymore. So we have like a contrary opinion, and with that, we brought back the PCI IDs that were removed from the driver headers. So then you can just recompile your kernel, and it will support the old hardware that you can still have. The important thing for us here is we brought back hardware in six drivers. You had listed them on the previous slide. Yeah, the angle of it is it could not only use your old dusty hardware, give it a new life, but if you possibly are facing trouble with acquiring new hardware, you may be on the money saver's side. And also it is a shout out to emerging economies, people that just cannot allow new hardware. So that is the social aspect of our project. Yeah.
That's great.
There is a future to that. I will just finish. There is a future to that.
Quick.
It's not like we just did this, but we'll continue to make sure that these drivers are working for everybody. So we have a hardware certification suite. We'll extend it to have a dedicated test for the drivers, so we make sure that there are no regressions on the newer builds that will come.
So give it up for integrating MariaDB catalogs with PHP platforms. And Andrew.
Thank you very much, everyone. So yeah, really long title. I've not been able to say it all completely in one go. I don't know why we kind of picked that title, but it succinctly explains what we're doing. So the brief of the project was to create a PHP framework or a library so that you could create and administrate catalogs, which is a new feature in MariaDB. So new, it's not even there yet. It's pre-alpha right now. And MariaDB catalogs, as I said on day one, is essentially a way of containerizing collections of databases and users so you can isolate them from each other, constrain resources, etc. So we didn't go without problems. So when my kids were little, they're both adults now, there was a film that I used to like called Meet the Robinsons. And in that film, there was a common theme, which was it's okay to fail. And in fact, failure kind of should be praised. And from that, you can learn from it, and you can keep moving forward. Now, my team were the first people ever to use MariaDB catalogs outside of the kind of 4 or 5 developers where we're actually working on the code. And things broke a lot. We failed a lot. And end of day one, I was thinking to myself, like, even if I just learn how they try and use it and see what went wrong, learn from the failures, MariaDB Foundation can keep moving forward with the project. We hit bugs, a lot of bugs. So much bugs they were on fire like that, so just fire bugs. So we couldn't get it. The source code was literally in Monty's server in the basement in Helsinki that I pulled. We didn't have binaries, so we had bugs even trying to get the thing to build. Once we got it to build, we couldn't get it to run properly. But we split the team up in such a way that a bunch of us were trying to work on getting it to actually run, while everyone knew the theory of how it was supposed to work, so they actually worked on the framework itself. And we actually ended up with some achievements. The achievements were we actually got it to work. We actually built a Docker container build setup so that we could reproduce the build so that everybody could actually use it in the team. And we actually had a server we could all run from as well. We created the framework, and the framework actually works. We created an absolutely massive workaround to one particular bug that caused MariaDB to crash constantly. So kudos to those guys, because that was a huge effort trying to get that to work. But they were using it in such a way that we never actually thought about, but actually makes a lot of common sense when we were actually trying to apply the thing. So we had that. We've actually got 4 repos of stuff now. So we've got the framework code. We've got the WordPress integration for single-site, multi-site. We've got a Laravel integration. We've actually got a Laravel demo. We've got WP CLI. There are over 130 commits in those 4 repos over the course of the last few days, which is crazy work. We've got unit tests, GitHub Actions, and we filed 6 bug reports against MariaDB catalogs in Jira, which I'll be speaking to Monty and Vincenzo about later today. But yeah, there was a lot of learnings, particularly for the MariaDB Foundation. You know, there was a lot of failures and the successes. And thanks to my team there, we are going to keep moving forward. And that is it.
There's a reason I'm wearing my headphones. Because in my headphones is a microphone. And with that microphone, I just turned on auto captioning so that the people in the audience here who cannot hear can follow this. In fact, this is something all you can do in your PowerPoint presentations. If you would like to learn how, it's been linked in Mattermost by Beatrice. Okay. First, I'd like to give some attribution. When I handed in my project, actually Alain Schlesser came up with a better idea, which was this. Mine was more an awareness project, and he was like, yeah, but Anne, we're a bunch of developers. Let's talk to developers. And I'm like, okay, cool, we're going to do that. So we decided to make this project to make accessibility easy for developers. I know a lot of you fear accessibility because it's like this wall of the unknown. You use components in your libraries, and this is a project from the community for the community. Okay, so lots of you had fantastic animated slides and stuff. I don't. We have factual stuff. We created a website. You can find it at caneveryoneuse.com, where you can read about this minimum viable project. And then a tool was created. I don't know if it starts to play now. Does it? It's playing. So you go onto our tool through the Check Your Component link. You search. And you find these components in an overview. And you can see exactly which component in your library of choice is already accessibility ready. Oh, those are a lot accessible components. That's really good, right? But there are yellow ones and there are red ones. Here we see an accordion. Well, it seems like it's working, but it has some red flags. Okay. Now, I forgot to put that in the presentation, but if you go to our tool, you will see that the ones that have yellow flags and red flags will also, once you click that, give you the solution and how easy it is to solve that by yourself. Most of the time, it's one attribute. It's one single line of code. Nothing to be afraid of. And if you see things about color contrast and that kind of stuff, well, you got to go hug the designer and say, hey, designer, learn about the color contrast, because that's not your problem. So how did we approach this project? It was really, really scary because we had a whole team of people of all kinds of skills, developers with accessibility experience, developers without, experts, specialists, marketing people. So we decided to do interviews on site with a lot of you. We spoke on social media, we did surveys, we defined user groups. There's a video about that coming to YouTube. We have some project facts. 44 tickets, this is only about the tool. 44 tickets were created, 17 tickets were closed, but a lot of the tickets that are not closed yet is about localization, because this project is intended to be made in every language possible and available, both for the tool and both for the website. We had 211 commits, and we have 2 repositories. We had 13 collaborators and more than 5,000 lines of code. And then, as this project is intended to be funded, because we need a lot of hands and a lot of time, we have also put a lot of time in already putting up the brand. We've created several social media channels. Yes, we're on Mastodon. But it's an MVP. The website of our tool is very inaccessible. We can't do everything at the same time, right? But the good thing is, this is the heart of accessibility and making things accessible and letting people use your product. We have progress over perfection. So we listed the problems that we have, the most problems that we have on our tool page. Color contrast can be fixed like that. Alt text can be fixed like that. Empty links can be fixed like that. Missing labels, it's all easy peasy. We just decided not to prioritize this, which normally when I would be working at a customer, I would say, you prioritize this first. But, yeah. So, as I was talking about the project and the project plan, we're going to do a lot more with a lot more libraries. We would like to call for more collaborators, learn more documentation. We're going to do a yearly ranking for all those libraries. And we are on Patreon and Ko-fi for people who want to help us fund this project and make it really big and make your lives a lot easier. That's it.
Amazing. Thank you.
We are the smallest team, and I think I will be quick with this. So what we do is WordPress has a lot of developers, and the code needs to be testing. So we use PHP unit test, and usually WordPress developers is like, okay, it works in my computer. Usually that happens, and it's happening right now and for the last few weeks. So what we have here is a tool that hosting companies can use in their systems and can test the future releases of WordPress before it's released. So this is a team. We were 3. So I think it's the smallest team maybe forever in the hackathon, probably. And the main idea for this hackathon was to add a new option that can test multiple PHP versions, because right now it only had one. So it was one user, one bot, one environment. And 4 years ago, 5 years ago, they do that request. So we added the multi-PHP and multi-environment. That means that one user we can test n PHP versions in the same server and n environments or configurations. So if your hosting company has shared hosting and another configuration is VPS and another is cloud, you can set up the same software in different places. So we can receive all the information, that matrix combination for all the PHP versions, different configurations and everything. So this should be showed in a website. It's in the hosting team website. So until now, we only showed the commits and if they're passed or failed. And now we show the commits and the info. And also we created a page for the hosting company so they can see all their tests in one place. So they can check if something fails in the WordPress code or if they did some changes or a new PHP version or whatever. They can see everything in the same place. And in the future, we are adding a software page so we can check, for example, if, I don't know, Image Magic is not working at all with WordPress, because that happened like 3-4 months ago with Curl, so everything failed and WordPress stopped working. And we changed a lot of things. One of the most important, at least for me, is this one, the second one, because we are now notifying hosting companies that what is failing, because until now when we sent all the failing tests every time, and now it will compare since the last one, so you will receive only the newest failing test. And another thing that happened is sometimes WordPress developers send 5 commits in 3 minutes. So there is no time because the tests almost take 15 minutes to run. So we changed some things to activate an option so you can test all the latest 10 commits. So if something didn't have the time to test it, in the same cron or the same iteration, it will be tested. Also, we upgrade the documentation. That's something important in this project because hosting companies need information on how to install the tool. And that's everything. So I hope in 1-2 weeks, everything will be online and available because I need to check with the core team and, and other teams, but everything's fine. So yeah.
Thank you. We're going to be talking about Mastodon for WordPress now. Give it up for Matthias and his team.
Thank you. The feedback to my first pitch on Friday was a bit different. I got some mixed feedback that that it was very stripped down with some questions open, and there were quite some people that totally misunderstood what we are doing. So we decided to simply show how it works. To explain it, we built the Mastodon app for WordPress. So here you see my nicely crafted blog with some example blog posts. And to connect that to Mastodon, you simply have to open your Mastodon app of choice, put in the domain name of your blog, and then there's some authorization magic. And then you hopefully, some onboarding. And now you see my 2 blog posts in the Mastodon app. And if you have installed some other plugins that provide some social features, you could also see some posts of your friends, your followers, their posts. You could search for hashtags or keywords in the post and see all blog posts of yourself or of your followers to that. And now that I see that, we have missed the create post, but trust me, it works. So what does that mean? I think it's the latest building block to host your own little social network. So there's no more need to go to walled gardens like Facebook and Twitter. You can do everything you need simply using WordPress. And your WordPress will be your node in a bigger decentralized social network. And you own your data. And now you have quite some nicely crafted apps you could use. What we have achieved, we implemented nearly every Mastodon endpoint, at least the important ones, and we hooked them into WordPress where it was possible, and where it was not possible, we simply provided some actions and filters that we tried to implement with some of our plugins at least, to have some of the social interaction features. And we tested quite some additional clients. And it was an experience working remotely with Alex, who was the inventor of the Enable Mastodon apps. We achieved quite a lot with the second smallest team, 1 person more. We thought, because we are providing social media, we do not have to post something there. So thanks, team, and thanks, Alex Remote.
For the first, I would love to thank the amazing team and really, they did a tremendous job. So as we proposed, we wanted to have an on-site checking about how to determine if there are terms used which are not appropriate. And we have came up with an MVP. We defined basic terms and phrases as a check. It's still work in progress, but as you can see, we already have a key feature for content review, inclusive suggestions, but also we did it really in a collaborative environment. So you can take the next slide. And I really want to hand over the mic to Jessica, who also with Bernard and Laura did a tremendous job in coding the feature.
Yes, so just started off. So we have a complete working MVP here. It checks for strings from our library. We call that library, which is basically a JSON file that contains all these not so good phrases and gives them suggestions and some more information. What you can see here is I pasted a document with some words that should be replaced, and in the sidebar for the page you have this little inclusion checker area, and that one displays you what words have been found, and it automatically updates on editing, so not by typing, but after a certain time it checks on what has been edited. And this is not only living here, but also in the pre-published check. So whenever you go and want to hit publish, this will also be popping up and showing you these words have been found. Here's what is suggested to do. So do you remove it? Do you replace it with something else? Or and now also gives you a few more information behind the why, which is on the right side.
Yeah, and big applause also to our team like Maya, Laura, and Katrin, who took the great job in Mio as well to collect the list of terms, review them, and discussing every term, why it is important to replace, and also deliver appropriate suggestions to replace. And there are certain terms with the trigger warning, and they went through this without any hesitation. And I'm so grateful for that you did this really tremendous task. So the benefits, to keep it quick, we want to offer a low-level option that you can find those terms and has no burden to think about it. Why you don't have to use these words, for instance, but we want also to raise awareness that there is more maybe a potential of offensive language, but also we want to integrate inclusion with your regular publishing experience and workflow. So, as we approach this project, we try to evaluate what is possible, what can be achieved for this hackathon. We have a great team with full stack. We divided our team in subgroups. Then one team focused on the code base. The other team focused on DevOps, GitHub, workflows. The next team on documentation. And we ended with this MVP you just saw. And this MVP is, you find it on GitHub. And we will continue to want to focus it as a WordPress core feature plugin. We decided on moving this around so that everyone can use this and benefit from having inclusive language already checked in. The full roadmap you find there, and I'm getting out of breath, and you are hungry, so thank you again for this tremendous team. Please join and give me a big applause for them.
We have the very last presentation of results today on stage. So give it up for team Hack the Hackathon!
Hello, hello, hello. We are having a really nice, big, beautiful team, quite diverse, a lot of brains in this. So we were having this beautiful task to make hackathons easy to do and get people who maybe have an idea, but they don't have a lot of skill with coding to be able to use open source software to do it. And we used a little bit of a divide and conquer to be able to attack this problem from two sides. One is information and knowledge, and one is technology, because of course we are developers. So let's get into a nice little video.
Imagine yourself in front of a computer screen, eager to kickstart your own hackathon. You have the passion, but where do you begin? It's a common question that many aspiring organizers grapple with. Well, fear not. Today, we're unveiling the solution to this dilemma. Unlock the power of CloudFest's insider knowledge with our concise handbook. Elevate your cloud technology game and join us as we pave the way to success. Get ready to soar above the competition.
Thank you. Thank you. So as this beautiful AI robot lady told us, we have created a solution. Other than the guidebook that you saw in the video, that is a very, very long document. I'm pretty sure the accessibility team has some words to tell us about that. It's also a platform. Let's see. So we used Cloud Run to create a template that somebody can use and deploy immediately that gives them a single sign-on. And with that single sign-on, everybody who signs in can have access to different applications, such as notes, for example, or code hosting, invoices and finances, everything that is needed for a hackathon, legal and chatting, and I don't remember exactly what this does, but cool. You can trust me, it's useful. Next. Go on. Live streaming and cloud, so you can share files and even have surveys at the end. All of these things are free and open source. And we also realized, because in the very beginning we decided to see who is involved in a hackathon, right? There's many people. I'm sure, well, when it is not in one woman's party, it is many people. So we decided to also create levels like administrators and editors and users. So organizers' platform could look like this: all of the power, all of the responsibility. And then an attendees' application list could look like this: everything that they need to simply do their job. And they can go to all of these applications with one single sign-on from the beginning. And that works. It does the thing. You can find it in cloudfest.dev. And if you can move on a bit. But there is more. We actually decided to implement an AI that can tell you about the hackathon. So not everybody has to run to their organizers and bother them all the time. So if you can, please look. So if you go to cloudfest.dev currently, you can go and ask questions to this beautiful AI about this hackathon. But we went one step further and got the guidebook to work with this. So aspiring hackathon organizers can actually ask this beautiful robot what they can do in order to make a hackathon, get sponsors, find volunteers, create a vision. And there is more. Okay, and for example, this is an example of a timeline that somebody can use to do that. What? Yeah, to organize it. Beautiful. I think we are actually very efficient and very done. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Woo! That was great. And we did it. So these were the results of the 11 projects for CloudFest Hackathon 2024. A big round of applause for all of them.